What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. We got some pretty big news here. A little bit unexpected, to be honest. I was expecting this a little bit later in the month, but we have the upcoming Fusion reveal right here behind me. She is looking badass. And of course, this is the Halloween Fusion, and they cannot stop themselves from making another undead champion for Halloween. So in this video, we're going to talk about her kit, first reactions. I actually have not read her kit at all. Usually I like to do these reaction videos so we can all experience it together. But yeah, first we're going to see what Plarium has to say about this new champion and what she is all about. All right here. Hey folks, next Thursday, October 23rd, like I said, it was earlier than expected. Usually they never start it this early. Usually it's either a day or two around Halloween. But yeah, this is like a week before Halloween, which is a big surprise to me. We're planning a mixed fusion event of a new champion, Sanguine Maria. Some people are calling it Bloody Mary. I kind of like that a little bit as well, saying Sanguine Maria. And they comment that it's going to be a mixed fusion. So they always usually just describe the fusion as it is, either saying it's a classic fusion or a fragment fusion. So it's neither. It's a mixed fusion, which means we will have to collect fragments to build epics. And then we'll have to level up the epics and then fuse the epics to get the champion here. These are time limited fusions, obviously, so we won't be able to save this fusion for future value. And there's no way to really, recover these fragments if we miss an event. So these are a little bit harder, in my opinion, compared to like traditional fusions where you have to get the rares, level them up, and then fuse them into epics, and then level them up and then fuse them into the fusion. So in this case, you can't really get additional fragments to build epics. And yeah, we can't miss any events basically. So anyways, Undead Horrors, legendary, attack base, and it is force affinity. They say her curse was born in threes: 3 cries for mercy, 3 drops of blood, 3 vows of vengeance. Once radiant and adored, she was betrayed by her own reflection. Now mirrors run red at her call, and every glimpse of her face comes with a price. So yeah, like I said, Bloody Mary, some people are calling her, and it sounds pretty accurate there. Sanguine Maria's descent upon Talaria will stain the arena crimson. Wow, but the realm's fiercest beasts and monsters won't escape her wrath either. She'll stand by raiders in both PvE and PvP, aiding everyone brave enough to call out for her. The number 3 still haunts her even beyond death. Every third hit lands with devastating power. She can extend enemy cooldowns by 3. She gains an extra turn when her number of buffs divide evenly by 3. There's no fleeing the curse she carries. With every cycle of 3, her power grows, and so does the whisper calling her back from the glass. This October, will you dare to say her name thrice? So obviously Bloody Mary references there. Now let's talk about her kit and what this is all about, because this sounds super confusing to keep track of. But yeah, let's take a look here. All right, like I said, I have not read this kit yet. I just know her kit has something to do with threes based on what Plarium says. So let's experience together. Hematic Blades. So our A1, attack one enemy 3 times. So a triple hitter sounds pretty good. Can work for Fire Knight, I guess. Each hit has a 33% chance of granting an extra turn. Cannot gain more than 1 extra turn. And then you get 30% damage from her books, which is pretty good. I mean, you get 15% damage from 1 book. That's good value. 2 books only. Yeah, 33% to get an extra turn. Let me just double check what Rhodos's is. So I'm just looking here at Rhodos's A1. Rhodos has a chance to land decreased defense and has a 25% chance of granting an extra turn. Now, 25% is not as good as 33% here from Maria, but Rhodos can chain multiple turns from his A1, whereas Maria can only get 1 extra turn. So a little bit of a drag there, at least relative to Rhodos. Let's see the A2 here. Sanguine Fisher. 4 turn cooldown, books down to 3 turns with only 3 books. And again, each book is 15% damage boost. That's pretty significant. Will ignore, as a single target hit, will ignore 33% of the target's defense. That's a good chunk. That's definitely a good chunk. Will ignore 99% of the target's defense, stone skin, and block damage buff instead if this skill is used on a turn number that is divisible by 3. That is interesting. I mean, almost 100% ignore, and then you're obviously ignoring stone skin and block damage. That's pretty massive, but you're not going to get that bonus unless she takes 3 turns before the enemy um, stone skin, I guess, wears off. I would imagine that by the time she takes 3 turns, the enemy's stone skin would wear off. But this might not always be the case, especially against champions with 2-turn stone skin. And if you're running Maria in a really fast team, it's possible that she cycles through 3 turns before the enemy cycles through 2 turns. So it is possible that she might get some value from this. Obviously, if she's ignoring stone skin and 100% defense, she's probably going to kill that champion straight through that stone skin. So this seems pretty interesting. Also, I mean, any divisible by 3 turn, she'll get that 99% ignore defense. So as the fight drags on, she'll have more opportunity to get this ability off and probably just straight up kill somebody. If the target is killed, increase the cooldown of all enemy skills by 3 turns. This effect cannot be resisted if this skill is used on a turn divisible by 3. Okay, so, let's say worst case scenario here. Worst case scenario, she ignores 33% on a 3-turn cooldown on a single target hit, which is still decent. That's still decent. And if it kills somebody, it's going to go through the accuracy check to basically reduce cooldown by 3 turns. And that's pretty good value. That's really good value. So even in the worst case scenario where she just hits for 33% ignore defense, and she kills someone, and it goes through the accuracy check, still pretty good. Still pretty good. Best case scenario, she kills somebody through stone skin, block damage, and you lock out the whole team, and you don't require accuracy. So yeah, this move seems pretty good, although very hard to keep track of. Yeah, I mean, I have trouble keeping track of Odin's 9 turns. How do I keep track of this Maria champion? All right, let's check out her A3, Gore Scream. 4-turn cooldown, books down to 3 turns. 3 books again. Very, very generous value from these books. You got, again, 2 books here, 30% plus damage. Another single target hit before attacking. Remove all buffs from all enemies. Nice. That is solid. So it's a team strip. This effect cannot be resisted by enemies with the number of buffs that is divisible by 3. Okay, so 3, 6. So 3 buffs and 6 buffs. Then, yeah, I mean, it's more likely that they'll have 3 buffs. So if they have 3 buffs, it cannot be resisted. So the strip ability cannot be resisted. Will attack all enemies with less than 66% HP. So you attack one enemy before attacking, removes all buffs, and there's no accuracy check if they have 3 or 6 or 9 buffs. And it's an AoE attack if you're attacking enemies under 66%. Grants an extra turn if this champion is under a number of buffs that is divisible by 3. If this champion is divisible by 3. So that extra turn mechanic is really, really nice. I mean, that extra turn mechanic is kind of busted, to be honest, because she gets to go, she gets to basically AoE them, strip their stuff, AoE or single target them, and then she can get an extra turn. I mean, that would be pretty nuts. I mean, but even without the extra turn, I think this ability is pretty good. More likely than not, it's not that easy to hit these conditions, the divisible by 3 conditions, especially the parts where accuracy is required. So like the cooldown reduction and the strip ability. I think you probably need to build her with at least a little bit of accuracy to at least give these abilities a little bit more consistency. But just a little thought there. Let's see her passive. Say her name. Each subsequent hit from this champion deals 33% more damage up to 99%. Resets after 99% damage bonus is applied. Okay, that's really hard to keep track of now because on her 3rd turn, she's going to get more damage. So each subsequent hit from this champion deals 33% more damage. That means her A1 dealing 3 hits. Her 2nd hit is going to deal 33% more, and then her 3rd hit is going to deal 66% more damage. So her A1 becomes quite powerful. That sounds really strong. And then, of course, she has extra turn ability as well on the A1 and the A3, basically just allowing her to cycle through this damage boost continuously. I don't know if it's better than like somebody that just stacks, that takes longer to stack, and then just has that buff forever. I suppose you could maybe average this out. So, 3 turns on average, you're getting about 66% damage boost throughout all 3 hits. That's kind of the way you probably want to average it out. Some champions I see, like, they have the 100% stat boost all the time. After a certain amount of time, it might take them a long time to get up to 100%, but they always have it. So in her case, her baseline is like 66%, like immediately on an average. So yeah, I don't know if it's better. I think it might be maybe slightly worse than just having the flat 100% over a long drawn out fight. So we're talking long drawn out fights. It's probably less damage than just somebody with the max all the time. Each subsequent hit this champion receives deal 33% less damage. So it's up to 99% damage reduction resets after 99. Okay. So she takes less damage when she gets hit, subsequent hits. That's interesting. I mean, she's going to be really strong against I guess maybe multi-hero. What multi-heroes are going to be really good? I'm just trying to think what multi-heroes can not. Maybe Marius. Maybe Marius would have a hard time killing. But honestly, she's an attack-based damage dealer. She's probably just going to fall over, on a stiff breeze. So we'll have to see about that, whether that's going to be any impact at all. Last bit of her passive here. Whenever an enemy is revived, revives this champion with 33% HP and 66% turn meter. After being revived, places a true fear on all enemies for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. So whenever an enemy is revived, revive this champion. That is nice. I mean, that's not quite a prevent death or cheat death mechanic, but the fact that she can be a threat and come back, and then the true fear is actually a really big situation as well. And then also the 2/3 turn meter is actually pretty nice. Yeah, she looks pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty interesting passive. She gets a damage boost, she gets damage mitigation, and then she has a return from death passive. That is actually pretty good, especially with the true fear. Aura, attack in all battles 33%. That's pretty good. Yeah, this champion looks pretty good. I mean, for a Halloween fusion, she's probably one of the best Halloween fusions of all time. But we'll have to see how her multipliers go. If her multipliers are awful, I mean, I can't imagine her multipliers being that awful, but just looking at this, usually what Plarium does is when the text on a champion looks really, really good, they do the tweaking in the background. So they either lower her stats quite a bit or they lower her multipliers quite a bit. So, she's attack based. So, they could give her really low base attack, something like 1300 or something. That would be stupid low. Or make her multipliers really, really low. Because she's getting quite a bit of damage here from books. They're going to factor that in as well. They're going to factor in that she has ignore defense, and then they're going to factor in that she gets the damage boost as well from the passive. So I don't expect her multipliers to be very, very high. We're going to have to test her out in some arena to see how well she does. But she definitely looks interesting. Unfortunately, she's in the undead faction, which is like super, super stacked. So I don't know how, sought after she would be for everybody. I think for the most part she looks like a really, really cool champion and probably pretty effective. But this divisible by 3, multiple by 3 stuff is going to be really, really hard to basically pay attention to. She's not the best like full auto champion most likely, but I think as a concept and design, I really like it. I think they're doing something a little bit complicated. It kind of fits with the theme of that Bloody Mary theme. She got the 3 mirrors all around her, which is really cool. So I like it. Generally, I like it. The other thing to consider is that she's going to be happening at the end of October, probably leading into the beginning of November. And what is happening at the beginning of November is the end of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collab, and we're still waiting for the Leonardo event. So it is very likely that this fusion will probably jeopardize the Leonardo event. I don't know how they're going to do it, but theoretically, I don't think it's out of the scope of Plarium to put, the fusion fragment pieces in a giant Hero's Path with Leonardo's soul and champion. So I think that's actually very, very possible. And I believe that happened in the past before where they offered a Hero's Path for an unrelated champion as well as leaving the fusion pieces in that Hero's Path as well. So there's just so many things to get. So that's something to be aware of. This champion looks really good. We're gonna have to, obviously play test her and all that stuff, and we'll be the first out of the gate to let you guys know how well she does. But you guys got to keep in mind that, doing a fusion is probably going to jeopardize your ability to get Leonardo. So just something to consider, guys. Anyways, that's going to be it here. Sanguine Maria. We're just going to call her Bloody Mary from here. But yeah, super cool champion Halloween fusion coming up. October 23rd is the date, and it's going to be a mixed fusion. It's going to be a hybrid fusion. It's going to be pieces for epics, going to be fragments for epics, and then build up the epics and fuse the epics into Maria. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Maria here. Do you guys think she's a slam dunk? Will you guys be going for her? Let me know if you guys see any cool interactions you guys could have with her as well. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.